Just saw Sleepless, a January action thriller with a 15% on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah. So Sleepless tells the story of a crooked cop who's stolen some cocaine with his partner. When the person he's stolen the cocaine from kidnaps his son and demands he return the cocaine, everything and everyone in the world get in the way of him returning the cocaine, hence our movie. All in all, this is actually a pretty enjoyable action thriller. Not a great movie, but it delivers on what it's supposed to deliver. Some people have compared it to Taken, but it's not really like that. I mean, it's similar in that the lead character's son has been kidnapped and he's trying to get his son back, and it has that similar urgent pace to it. But beyond that, Taken was a very simple, direct story where each scene was Liam Neeson going from scene to scene, beating guys up, trying to get his daughter back. Here, it's much more of a back and forth, who's good, who's bad, plot twists, big reveals, and a lot more plots going on at the same time, and a lot more characters that we're engaged with. So in that regard, it's similar, but not really. So let's talk about the good. Right off the bat, the main thing that makes this movie work is the cast. So of course, you've got Jamie Foxx leading the cast here, and the character as written is pretty unlikable for most of the movie, and the reason that we enjoy being around this character, it really is just because it's Jamie Foxx and he's so charismatic, and even when on page he's not likable, he's still likable because he brings so much to it. He can pull off the action to it, the physicality demanded, as well as coming off like a concerned father while a desperate man in a horrible situation. He pulls all those pieces together, and you like watching him on this ride. Then across the board, you've got Michelle Monaghan is kind of the person that's the kind of investigating him throughout the story and kind of getting in the way throughout most of the story. And you understand where she's coming from, and she does a pretty good job with the role as well. And across the board, you got some other people in the mix, like Gabrielle Union, who apparently is doesn't age, because I was like, why is this girl in this movie married to Jamie Foxx? She's like 20 years younger than him. And then I realized, no, wait, she's like 3 years younger than him. She just looks like she's in her 20s still, which is congratulations to you. But she does a simple enough job with what she's given as the concerned mother. This is one guy in it. I don't know who he is. Apparently, I've looked him up on IMDb, and he's been in a ton of stuff, exactly 432 things, to be more specific, that I've seen before. But he does a great job as just this creepy, sleazy drug dealer in town, and just makes you feel uncomfortable the whole movie. So yeah, Hollywood cast this guy in these types of roles. He does a great job in them. Other things that really work, I think the director, who I looked up his page and I didn't recognize anything that he'd done before, he does a really good job making for just this tense, urgent feel to the story as you're going through it, and he shoots the action really well. Now, this isn't an all-out action movie, it's an action thriller, and when the action starts going, it's not big spectacle, but it's like just kind of visceral action with two guys desperately throwing punches, and Jamie Foxx is literally in like 4 or 5 different fight scenes in this movie, but you can see what's happening. It's not chop fu, it's not super stylized choreographed martial arts, it's two guys, and you can see what's going on. Every punch, every kick, the slams into the wall, can tell what's going on. So the director does a really nice job both with the action, getting great performances out of the actors, as well as just creating a tension and urgency, and keeps you in your seat. And maybe the biggest compliment, like I said, this isn't a great movie. I didn't have a lot emotionally invested in it, but I really needed to go to the bathroom about 30 minutes into the movie, and I stayed because I was like, I don't want to miss anything. I'm going to stay in this. And that all the credit on me being uncomfortable and wanting to go pee the whole movie goes to the director, who crafted a story that was nice, intense, and kept you engaged. Let's get on to the bad. And really the big glaring problem with this movie is the script. Because while the movie has great performances, well-handled action, and a sense of tension throughout the whole story, the script that ties it together, it has what I like to call the first draft problem. And I don't know how many drafts they did on this script, but this feels like a first draft of a story where a writer went in and put all the beats in place and to the main plot points. Okay, 20 minutes in, kid gets kidnapped. 30 minutes in, things really start getting crazy. Big action sequence starts, hour and 30 minutes into it, resolution. All the beats are in place, the structure's in place, there's some quips here and there, but the logic tying each scene together is really bad. And what will happen is two guys will be in a fist fight, one guy gets away, and then in the next scene, one of the guys has a gun suddenly. He just pulls a gun out. And he's like, why? You were just in a fist fight. Why didn't you pull the gun out and shoot the guy in the leg, aim it at his head? Why didn't you do any of that stuff? There's scenes where someone escapes because stuff happens and you're like, I think that this is exactly what's going on, and that's exactly what's going on. It's just like a cheap excuse to move plot points all along. Police officers do things they would never do because it needs to set up the next plot point. There's not an actual logical reason in the story for them to do what they're doing. It feels out of place. And likewise, there's a number of twists and turns throughout the story, and you're going to be able to guess each and every one of these. Now, here's what makes this so surprising to me, that my biggest issue with the movie is the script, is the writer is Andrei Berloff, is I believe what his name, how you pronounce the name. And this is the guy that wrote Bloodfather. This is the person that wrote Straight Outta Compton. And one of those was nominated for an Oscar for the writing. So this is someone that knows how to write or knows how to work right with a partner. And I looked into it, and it looks like they've normally worked with a partner. And I don't know if that's the difference, that this person is great at structure, but they're not great with the actual individual logic, or they're great with dialogue. I don't know. But the script here is certainly the biggest problem. There's just so many logical leaps, things that happen coincidentally, or you get to the end of the movie and you're going, all right, who has the drugs? Why do they have the drugs? Why didn't they do this? Couldn't this all be resolved? And all of it, just the logic internally, moment to moment, does not work. And you get to the final climax of this, and I was really tracking along. I think at about like an hour and 15 minutes into this, I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm really digging this. It's got some problems. And then just the logical fallacies, like they wanted certain people to be dead, certain scenarios to happen, and just keeps kind of getting dumber and weaker reasons for why things are happening. And that's really the big problem with it, because it's well acted, the directing works great, the action is handled nicely, there's a nice pacing and tension to it, but the writing, it's just not where it's supposed to be. And I don't know if this was just my audience or if these were intended laughs, but there was a number of times throughout the movie where my audience was laughing, and I didn't know, are we laughing at it? Are we laughing with it? And it's just the way some stuff unfolds and some of the fight scenes and a 16-year-old boy getting involved with it, and our audience was laughing. I was like, I don't know if that was supposed to, I just don't know. Like, I don't know if that was intentional or not. Overall, I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. It delivers on the excitement. This is my type of movie. I enjoyed it, had the tension. Unfortunately, just the writing wasn't tight enough, and for all the back and forth, it didn't have strong enough logic. It was too predictable, but I enjoyed being on the ride. And to be honest, if you see the trailer and this is your type of movie, you'll enjoy this movie. It's not great, but it's an enjoyable movie. If this isn't your type of movie, it's not going to win you over. You're not going to hate it, but it's not going to win you over, and you'll be nitpicking the plot along the way. But that's just one man's opinion. How about you? What did you think about Sleepless, and what is kind of your favorite action thriller type movie? So I've got a soft spot for Taken. I love Taken. Actually, I'm going to watch Taken while I edit this video. But you tell me in the comment section your thoughts on Sleepless, and tell me what type of action thrillers you like to watch. If you're new to my channel, you've never clicked that subscribe button, please consider clicking that subscribe button. I do kind of a daily movie news roundup during the work week. I do 3-4 movie reviews each week, as well as a live show tomorrow, or each Sunday. Tomorrow is going to be all about talking spoilers about the movie Split. Check that out. I'd love it if you've joined it. If you've seen Split, if you haven't seen Split, go watch Split. Then check out this live discussion that we're going to do tomorrow. And thank you so much for watching.